right, so for lab time today, it's going to be a very easy lab time. Really, this is just free points for you. Doesn't really require almost any coding at all. Your data science assignment, there is no folder on the server. It is purely a report. What you're going to do is you're going to go onto Kaggle. You go into the data sets. You're going to search for some data set that interests you. For example, in the previous class, one girl was interested in Rainbow Six Siege. And you can come on here and see the rankings and things like that, PC, game mode, map name, tons and tons of data on like map information and play, peak hours, peak play, play stats per month, this kind of stuff, number of kills based on username. So got all these usernames and number of kills and all this kind of stuff. And so what you're going to do today is you're going to just go through the Kaggle data sets. You're going to find a data set that speaks to you, that you like. Like she was a Rainbow Six player, so she was searching for Rainbow Six things. The one I did last year was data science, which is what we're doing. And I pulled up the data science job salaries and used the data science to analyze the data science and ask questions like, are Europeans paid more than Americans? The answer is no. And how much more, money does a senior level developer get than a mid and things like that. So what you're going to do for today is you are going to find a data set on Kaggle that is interesting to you. Another famous one is the Titanic. A lot of people use this one, which is like information on survivors of the Titanic, which parts of the Titanic were most likely to result in you surviving. If you were a engineer in the Titanic, what were your odds of dying? That kind of stuff. That's a fun one. But just find something that speaks to you. If you like video games, there's the Metacritic rankings here, and you can look at like the scores over time. And what you're going to do for today is you are going to download it. You're going to use WinSCP to copy it onto the server. And then you are just going to print out the whole CSV file. That's it. Okay. So you're just going to, if you remember our code from Monday, we have the CSV parser kind of basically just write that. Just, I want to see code on the server. You've got the Kaggle data set downloaded and you print out the data set to the screen. That's it. You're free to go. Okay. That's all it is. So really the lab time for today is just getting you guys to go onto Kaggle, find a data set that interests you, and then upload it on the server, and then just use, either my source code or your source code, just print the whole thing to the screen. Data science is kind of a new field. It's back in the day, data science would have been called like stats, like you're a stats guy, at a company, or stats gal at a company. And these people would look at data patterns and find, things they need to know, like, oh, look, we're working for Gottschalk's, which used to be a company here in Fresno. Look, we're tracking, the hemlines of dresses over the years, and they're getting shorter, or jeans are tighter this year than before, or people have longer sleeves or whatever. All these trends and fashions, they look at the data, they draw inferences from it. And so what you're going to do for your homework assignment is you are going to answer these questions. What's the name of the CSV file you downloaded? What analyses you ran? And you're going to have to run like 10 analyses, right? So here would be one sample question you could ask. Moving from a mid-level job, the question would be, how much additional money do you get if you move from a mid-tier position to a senior position? And, if you do the analysis, it might turn out to be $50,000 a year increase as you get bumped up from mid to senior. You have to answer 9 questions essentially. And what I recommend is that you pick something that's related to your interests, right? So if you're into video games, like here you can see the controller of the Titanic submersible, right? Then you can download the Metacritic reviews, and it's got all these Metacritics from 1995 onwards. you're gonna have problems because this thing here has a comma in it, so you might have to like clean up the data set a little bit. But like if this is the one that you wanted, you can answer questions like, have Metacritic scores been getting worse over the years or getting better? Or what year had the best video games in it? You know, if you come up with a criteria like over 90 is a good video game, then what year had the most good video games in it? That would be the kind of question you could answer for data science. And so data science really is stats combined with computer science. So data scientists are often not like, they could be computer science people, but a lot of times they're people that have taken a little bit of computer science, have taken CSci 40, probably CSci 41, and with their computer science skills can load this into a 2D vector and then do things like go down column 5, add all of the values together, counting how many of them are greater than 90 or something like that. It's a little program you write, and instead of just using pure stats to analyze the data, you're actually writing a program that will analyze the data for you. Okay? And that's what you guys got to do for your thing. This is not something that has a right answer for it. There's no auto grader, right? What you're going to do is you're going to give me your source code so I can look at it. But basically what I'm interested in is the 9 questions you ask. I want you to tell a story using the data. That's what makes statistics so interesting, is that, there's a story behind all these things. Why did Rainbow Six, views go up, in recent years, right? And apparently there's some sort of streamer guy that like, very popular streamer that started streaming Rainbow Six, and everyone's like, oh, this is a cool game. I should get into it again, maybe. And so, if you didn't know that, you just know that the data just shows a sudden spike in March of 2020 or something. I don't know. You're like, oh, look, something happened here. Maybe it's a new DLC or something like that. But basically, through the numbers, you can generate a story. And that's really what I care about. Okay? Your analyses don't have to be hard, as long as you can do things like add up all the numbers in a vector and average them, like you should be fine. We can go over more of that on Monday, I guess, but you should have enough computer science skills to do this now. There's extra credit available if you have a harder data set. Some of the data sets, like this one, in fact, have a comma in them, which will screw up the code that I showed you, if you remember, that one. Vim public CSV parser, kind of. Remember, this just reads until the next comma. Well, if your data has commas in it, this is going to break everything, right? So you have to handle anything within a double quote. You should skip all the commas in it. So that's why it's worth extra credit. I don't know if it's worth the extra credit, but it's worth an extra point if you do in fact have a data set that is challenging. Challenging meaning that there are commas and stuff like that in it. Okay. I personally would recommend, especially if you're not strong at computer science, picking a simpler data set that has no commas anywhere within the data. Like that's a comma right there. That's going to screw you up, right? So I just find data that didn't have commas. That's just me though. But if you do handle that extra point, and you're just going to write a report, turn it in by next Friday, and we'll probably have you guys present them online and things like that too. It should be fun. Okay, so for lab time now, simply download a CSV file, get it onto the server, and then print it to the screen, and you're good to go. Okay, and have a wonderful weekend.